This is Lewis Katz, and we are going to be looking at Fusion 360 and the shell command. Hey, that's not what it's supposed to look like. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to just be able to jump right in, and I am looking for this environment to work in, and so I created some objects that I could work on. One of them is just a plain box. All of them are changed just a little bit so that we could see what they would do, and the shell command is right here. If you hover over it and let it sit, it'll tell you what it is and then tell you a little bit more about it and how to get more help. Let me click that, and it brings up this dialog. And this is important, but the default is generally what you want. You click on a face, you tell it how many millimeters you want the wall to be thick, and generally for 3D printing, my minimum is 1.2 for most objects, although I'm willing to make them thinner than that if I really need it. But this produces a reasonably strong object, and I rarely need to go over 2. What that does is it hollows it out, and it gives it a 1.2 millimeter wall around the side. And since this says inside, this hole on the inside is smaller than the box by 1.2 millimeters here and 1.2 millimeters here. So you have to remember that this distance here is 2.4 millimeters less than the size of the box. But you could also do it on the outside and put it down for 1.2 millimeters, and it'll end up being bigger, so the original box is now inside of this. But I'm going to leave it as inside, and so I've hollowed that out. When forms get more complex, you get more complex things happening. And so it's important to figure out what's going to happen when you do this. So if I select this, and let's just make it 3 here, so we can see what that looks like. And I look at this, if that cylinder comes pretty close to the bottom, it will do that and just hollow it out like that. But let me go back. And let's take a look at this some other way, right here. Shell, I can select this and make it 3. Press OK. And now we can see what that looks like on the inside. Yeah? Just shaded. And there it is. Yeah, so you can do a lot of things with this. Okay, let me go back to our normal view here. And let's try this one, but let's take a look at it. So this one's got a shallower hole. So I've got a number of choices. But let me take the first one first. I'm going to go Modify, Shell. I'm going to click this top. And let's just say I make it 1 millimeter. And I'm going to press OK. What this does is it leaves both of these cylindrical holes as floating objects. They're not attached to anything. And so you can't have something like this floating in space. When you print it, it's just going to fall down. You could print the whole thing upside down, and then you're going to get the box. You're going to get this little cylinder, and you're going to get this little cylinder, but they're going to be printed on here, and these will be overhangs, and there's going to be a lot of problems if you try and print it that way. But there are other things that you can do with this that could be really nice. So let's go back and undo. And let's go shell. Let's select this. And let's just try 5 millimeters. What this does is because the wall is so thick, it includes this piece in the object. You can see I'm almost including this piece, but let's say I make this 10. Yeah, too much. We'll try it at 7. And so now everything is attached. Let me press OK so that we can scroll around and look at this. And you can see that this has got a nice thing here, and it's a hole there. And this is something that can be really useful if you're going to make a lid that's going to fit down here, and you need a hole in here to put an insert or a nut or something to hold a screw. It can be really useful for that. Okay. So I wanted to undo this again. I can press this or press Command Z. Let me get back to home here. And I'm going to drag it here. I can also make a shell. All of this is right. I'm going to click just the bottom of this. And then we'll make it, we decided 7 was good, but we don't need it. We can make it 3 here. And press OK. So now I've got the inside of this cylinder, but all the space inside is hollow. This can be really hard to see. So let me create a box. I want it on the base plate here. We'll make it go from here, and we'll cut across to about there. I think that'll do it. And we'll go up. And we're going to make a new body. And then let's get this where I want it to be. And top. Stretch it a little bit more. And then cut. Okay. So now, it's not exactly what I want, but let's go back home here. And then so now you can see how that got cut, or what that made. By clicking the bottom of that cylinder, it hollowed out all of the inside here. So it can be really nice. And this piece, there's a lot of choices you could make. You could modify. You could do this and make it be 3, and it would take out all of the guts out of there. So you've got a hollow space around here. You could hollow this. And so there's a lot of possible choices for the shell command. So there we go. And I hope you have a nice day. Thank you.